Solving the true identity of Cassie's dad was huge. And I don't mean huge just because, oh, it's another theory done and completed, but instead I mean huge because of what it implies for the rest of the lore. All of a sudden, this random bully with a Bonnie mask, whose only appearance was in Fnaf 4, now suddenly has a whole lot more importance to the lore. And the fact that he's Cassie's dad isn't just because of pure randomness or plot convenience. As Matt Pat pointed out in his latest theory, he actually has a full-on character arc. After witnessing his best friend's little brother traumatizingly pass away due to an animatronic malfunction, he then grows up to be an engineer working for Fazbear Entertainment, now devoting his life to fixing those animatronics to make sure that that never happens again. It comes full circle, and it is honestly very, very smart storytelling on Scott Cawthon's part. But the reason I'm bringing all of this up today is because of what it implies for the rest of the lore. If Bonnie Mask Guy went through this story arc and had even more importance in the lore because of the mental effects the Bite of 83 gave to him, then what about the bully in the Freddy mask, or the bully in the Chica mask? Did either of them have any mental effect or story arc because of the Bite of 83? Yes. Just like Bonnie Mask Guy, not only were these two teenagers affected by the Bite of 83, but they've also played a much bigger importance in the role than we have ever realized. What if I told you that we have already seen how the Bite of 83 affected these two other teenagers? And to find out how, we're gonna have to look all the way back to Fnaf 2. Now, before we continue any farther, there is one more thing I have to make clear for this theory to make sense. Toy Chica did the Bite of 87. I don't give a flying fuck what Matt Pat says. Oh, but Mangle's the only one who has a mouth big enough to actually bite into a frontal lobe. Toy Chica's just unrealistic. So what? It's the Fnaf lore. When has it ever been realistic? But it looks like Mangle's hitting your frontal lobe whenever he kills you. Well, guess what? Mangle doesn't kill you. It is not canon in the Fnaf lore that Mangle kills you during one of the Fnaf nights. What is canon is making it till 6 a.m. So Mangle somewhat aiming for your frontal lobe whenever he tries to kill you honestly could very well be a coincidence. Plus, in Ultimate Custom Night, Toy Chica says this.
Where's my beak? Lodged in your forehead, of course.
Now, if that's not undeniable proof, then I don't know what is. But one undeniable fact that we all can agree on when it comes to the Bite of 87 is who the victim was. Because it was very clearly William Afton. Now, I'm just playing. Actually, it's this pretty random night guard, or used to be night guard, named Jeremy Fitzgerald. We all know that Jeremy Fitzgerald got moved to day shift, and then that's whenever the infamous Bite of 87 happened. But there's been something in the Bite of 87 that has bothered me for a while. For an event in the Fnaf lore that is so iconic, it actually didn't really do much, or lead to anything. There wasn't really much effect because of the Bite of 87. It just seems like some random event that randomly happened just for the sake of random stuff happening. There was no real reason for it to happen. Nothing big came from the Bite of 87. Dare I say, if you were to remove the Bite of 87 from the Fnaf timeline, nothing much would change. For years now, I've been wondering if the Bite of 87 has held any more effects to the Fnaf lore or its characters than we realize. But now it hit me. It all makes sense now. The Bite of 87 wasn't made to have any effects on the future Fnaf lore. Instead, the Bite of 87 was the future effect caused by a past event. The Bite of 83. I know that probably makes no fucking sense, but just hear me out. Although it's hard to tell because they're only 8-bit sprites, I would guess that Michael, along with all of his friends, are around 14 to 15 years old at this time. This means that whenever FNAF 2 takes place, Michael's friends should be young adults. If not that, then at the very least old enough to have a job. So what if Jeremy Fitzgerald, the once night shift worker at FNAF 2, who met a terrible fate at the hands of Toy Chica, was actually one of Michael's friends all along, specifically the one with the Chica mask? The only reason I say Chica Boy specifically is because it would make the most sense for his character arc. The same teenager who caused a kid to lose his frontal lobe from an animatronic while wearing a Chica mask, growing up to then having his frontal lobe eaten by a Chica animatronic. It's ironic, it comes full circle, and it shows karma at its finest. And probably one of my personal favorite parts about this theory is that it gives the Bite of 87 a better purpose to exist in the Fnaf lore. Now the Bite of 87 is an ironic dose of karma to one of the fellow crying child bullies. So in conclusion, I think Chica Mask Guy was really Jeremy Fitzgerald all along. Therefore, like Cassie's father, expanding his character arc and giving him more of a purpose than being just some random background bully. Did I really need to take 5 minutes and a whole YouTube video to explain that little theory? But all of this leaves one last question. So now that Foxy Bro is Michael Afton, Bunny Mask Guy is Cassie's dad, and even Chica Mask Guy being Jeremy Fitzgerald, what is Freddy Mask Guy's extra purpose in the FNAF lore? What does he go on to do in the FNAF lore? Well, my friends, I will tell y'all the major important role that Freddy Mask Guy has for the rest of the FNAF lore in part 2 of this video. Why am I making a part 2, you may ask? Well, honestly, my theory about Freddy Mask Kid connects to a part of the lore that is still pretty unsolved. It's kind of a big gray area, and so I want to really dedicate a video specifically to that gray area of the FNAF lore. Right now I'm being pretty vague so I don't end up giving anything away, but you'll see what I mean whenever the upload's released. If it is released, then I'm gonna go ahead and put an iCard or an in-card or something or another somewhere so you guys can watch it and go ahead and check it out if it is already released, if you're watching this video in the future. But if you're not, then stay tuned because that video is also coming eventually. I don't really know when. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.